going to come to fruition, and I want to go into other markets, Jamaica, South America, and provide my cosmetics with them. Now, how I differ from many other people is that I am a mother of three. I always had to have my makeup on and look like I came out of a, what is it, one of those magazines. So I came up with...
Ebony.
Oh, Ebony? Well, you know, that's Mr. Johnson's company.
Yeah, I know it. That's why I said it. I know Mr. Johnson.
You do?
Yes.
And so I came up with a collection of colors that would make it easy and simple for women to apply their makeup and at a great value. So I'm looking at now to do, and Mr. Pena, I would like your opinion on this. My gut feeling, because that's basically how I have moved myself through the years of my existence on this planet, is by a gut feeling of what I should do, what feels right, what feels good. And I feel I want to move my company out of the department stores, which the Lauders and the Lancombs and the Cliniques, they control. You can barely get enough shelf space to even merchandise your goods. And plus, no one really cares about your goods because you don't employ them. They're working for the store. I want to move my cosmetics into mass, into Walmarts or Sears. And my projection is, and my goal was to take into account that I wanted to employ women, so women would have an opportunity to make more money than minimum wage like I did and work their behind off, have more control over their lives, and be able to raise their children where they want them to be. So if they wanted to work 100 or 1,000%, that is basically what you would get out of your territory.
I'm going to lose track of a bunch of the things you said. I want to make some comments right now. She's embodied pretty much what the seminar is about. Now, she's talking about this passion and commitment, which Mr. Johnson has, which all the high-performance people in the country have. She talked about a mentor relationship, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow and the next day, that I think the mastermind system really leaves a lot to be desired, not worth a spit. And the mentor, to find a mentor is the quickest, fastest way to quantum growth. She talked about you're your best spokesperson. Always you are. And but when you're into the quantum growing, you can't always be your own spokesperson. You just can't. By definition, you can't. Because you can't be there. You can't be in enough places at enough time. She talked about the visualization and dreaming. She learned from her mistakes. But then she talked about Walmart and Sears. Now, I disagree with using Walmart and Sears for two simple reasons. Sam Walton, who's been so many things written about what a great guy was. You know, Walmart would continue to do business with you until they represent 60, 70% of your business, and then they come in and they cut you off and they say, we own your business now. Excuse me. You're ours. That's how Sears got big. They go in and they give you business. It's like fishing, you know, throwing the bait out and throwing the bait out. And that's how Sears and Roebuck got big, and that's how Walmart continues to get big. And the reason why they say made in America at Walmart, it's because Walmart can't Asians, Mexicans, South Americans, and South Africans that way because they know better. Only ones stupid enough to do that are Americans. They get 60% of your business, then they turn the key. So I wouldn't be doing that. You know, and Mr. Walton is, he's in the Business Hall of Fame, and that's one of my goals in life is to be there, the American Businessman Hall of Fame. But I mean, let's understand, for the marketing gurus or think they're gurus in this room, that's how Sears and Roebuck got big, and that's how Walmart got big. So I wouldn't be going to those two. It'll be the last two I go to. That's how they did it, and then they control your business. Yes, sir. Wait a minute.
Did you see her on TV?
Yeah, she could be. Sure.
I buy her stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't need it.
Yeah, that's right. Now, that's exactly right. But the other thing I would do is I would get an African American woman spokesperson, give her 20% of the company, 10%. I'm trying to I like Goldberg, Whoopi, but she's not the right one. Not Whoopi, but I like Whoopi. But I mean, somebody get some African American lady, some black lady that's high profile that's not already in the makeup business. Sure, but yeah, is she that young, good-looking with long legs? Yeah.
Well, what I was going to tell you is that when I first wanted to pursue my cosmetic company, not to go into the same market that the man I so admired, Mr. Johnson, in the retail department stores, I had approached QVC. They did give me a meeting with them. But because they said, well, Naima, no one knows of you.
That's
Nobody
right.
knows about you.
But
and they had Sherry Belafonte, and they opted to go with Sherry Belafonte.
well, then get somebody else. But see, that's what you need, name recognition. The easiest way to get name recognition is to give them part of the company. And what we're going to talk about in the next 2 days is all high-performance people give away equity. They give away parts of the company. I mean, they give away a great deal of money to make money. You know, I couldn't have made anywhere near a fraction of what I made if I didn't make 25 people worth $1 million and 10 people worth 10 million and 5 people worth 50 million and a couple, 3 worth 500 million. Couldn't have done it. Just couldn't. It's impossible. I mean, Ross Perot is a classic example. 45,000 employees. I think he made 3,000 millionaires. 1,500 were 10 million. 800. I mean, he's a classic example. This old lady that just died, that was the housekeeper for Walt Disney. I mean, I thought I was the only one that did that. But old Walt, I knew, you know, he's a, look at, he gives his housekeeper. Just imagine what he gave all the employees. These guys that are cashing in these stock options. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. But to get, whoever said you got to give to receive, or something like that, I forget what it is. Yeah. They were right. They weren't talking about business, I don't think. But I mean, but it works. You've got to give away. You know, at Great Western Resources, when I used to come in on Saturday or Sunday, it didn't look any different than Tuesday, other than they were wearing casual clothes. I challenge anybody in this room that's got a business, that's got more than 2 employees, him and his wife, that their employees work for nothing on the weekends. Nobody would ever even have thought of turning in overtime in my company. Even when the laws, you know, became where they came in and checked. Never happened. Because I paid him so much. A 40 to 200% bonus was not unheard of. 40 to 200%. I got a few of those 200 myself. And they never begrudged me. I had the longest limo in Texas, and that's saying something in Texas. And that GWR license plate limo used to come around that corner, and they say, there goes the old man. That's what they used to call me. There goes the old man and his wife. My wife was on the board of the symphony and the opera and all these other things. There goes Mr. and Mrs. P. You know? And then when I've been through planes and yachts. I've been through all that stuff. But, there's no way you can justify a corporate plane. I don't care who you are. I mean, I've had a couple. In my judgment, you can. If you want to have a play toy, that's fine. Just call it a play toy. Don't try to justify it as a corporate plane. But we'll get into that in some depth. But give away part of the company, 10 or 20%, maybe more. It depends on how, if you want to get, I don't know how high profile. You need as high profile as you can get. And there's certain of the, not just African Americans, but I mean, I'm the only Latino that I know that's made any money that didn't make it stealing from the government. So, but I mean, you can find people that will want to be a part of something that transcends their life. And that's what I'm looking for now. Something that will be around after I'm gone. So, I mean, you shouldn't have any trouble finding that. I mean, I can't imagine you'll have trouble finding such a person. Yes, Burl, sure.
Instead of going head to head, if I was to go buy your company, instead of going head to head with these guys in department stores, what I would do is have full-time parties. You made $5 billion doing that.
You mean like Amway?
No, Mary Kay does.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's direct sales.
Yeah, definitely. Because you have your regular income buyer. You make a lot more money doing that than going head to head with these guys. They just have too much money with these people.
Sir?
I don't know how I'm going to follow all these great acts I've been hearing here this afternoon.
Well, it looks like you're getting ready to, though. It's not, you don't look bashful to me.
My name's Gordon Moody. I'm originally from the state of Maine. I've lived here on the west side of Los Angeles for 32 years. And I have no business experience, much anyway. I've been an electronics technician for all of my adult life. And I've been in the telephone industry for the last 15 years or so. But along about 20 years ago, I started getting wealth-oriented. And I said to myself, there must be something better than this. And so I started, like many of you have done, buying published works and books and tapes and seminars and so forth. And I guess to date I've spent in excess of $40,000 on the same. Some have helped, and some were just garbage. I retired from the General Telephone Company 3 years ago, and since that time I've been involved in electronics items like 900 numbers, paper call, and that's what I'm doing at this time. And I'm hoping that, well, I'll make it happen, I'm sure. I will finance other businesses from the profits that I make from the paper call business. I guess that's about it
What
for
is
now.
paper call? What does that mean?
Paper call?
Yeah, what paper- what is that?
900 numbers.
Oh, 900. You
Yeah.
mean the ones pornographic phone numbers?
Well,
Is that it?
they used to be pornographic, but they're
I like
not
that
so much
business.
anymore. Yeah,
I
they're not
like
so much
business, yeah.
anymore.
But when you go to meet the girl, they're never the same. I mean, so I'm told. So I'm told.
I'm 61 now. I've never married. I don't have any family here. That's about it, I
But
guess.
you've had a stress-free life then, if you know.
Pretty
about-
much, yes. I have all my time to myself.
That's dynamite.
Yeah.
If I had it to do over again, I'd never get married. My wife heard that story. I won't get off on that story, but you know, but I stress. Just imagine without having the stress of having your significant other bust your chops. I mean, geez. I probably look 20 years younger. Okay, well, you're going to pick up on principles, and you notice how he corrected himself. He started to say, "Hopefully, I'm going to make it happen." That makes me feel good. Means something's working, you know. Some of you doofuses, you know, I'm going to hear you walking out, oh, if I could only think I could do that, then I'm going to kick you upside the head. I mean, it's critically important when you're dealing with people. You can get people to do almost anything. And the Verdiers are going to come up here pretty soon, and if I get them to change, God knows I could walk on water. I mean, because they were successful, they had done a lot of things, but we'll get up. Now back to your 900 numbers, you will find that the things that I'm going to talk about and share with you in the next 2 days after the end of today, you're going to be able to directly apply, and your investment decision-making process that you use is going to change dramatically, because I'm a proponent of the more you investigate, the less you have to invest. And that means the harder you look at a deal, and we're going to give you various forms and lists to show you how to look at a transaction, how to investigate, because I investigate everybody that I do business with private investigators. Lorraine, my able colleague in the back, is a private investigator, as well as the various other things she does for me. And so, I mean, I know the last time somebody scratched his ass when I go into business with them. And you, as you learn those techniques, because what you want to do is you want to avoid or avert the avoidable mistakes. The avoidable mistakes. Some mistakes aren't avoidable. But you want to avert the avoidable mistakes. And how I've done that is to big-time due diligence, big-time investigations, and with private eyes. And when poor Ross Perot was talking about how he, I think it was Ross. Who? Yeah, private investigators. Everybody, big-time guys, all do it. I mean, if you don't think General Motors and all these big companies don't have private investigators crawling all over to find out when they're going to do a joint venture with somebody, I mean, when I went into business with the Japanese National Oil Company, JAPEX, the national government, they invested back, gave me back to when I was born. Because they wanted to make sure I wouldn't embarrass Wada-san or Ito-san. Because to them, and I'm not here to talk to you about how to deal in Asia. Michael Wan's a better expert than I am in that, but they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to lose face. And so part of that, and part of what you'll learn here, is how to go through that process. Sir, where's the... oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I beg your pardon. I don't say that often, I beg your pardon, but anyway, once or twice a year. Go ahead.
My name is Gunvor Tweet. I'm from Seattle, Washington. And we came to Dan Peña's seminar through VR Business Broker. We own a business brokerage company in Seattle.
Don Taylor.
Yes.
That's Think and Grow Slow. That's it. I tease Don, thinking, he's a very wealthy guy, but he did it over 40 years. I'd rather be kissing my sister. Okay, go ahead.
Well, thanks to Don Taylor,
Yeah.
we're here. A friend of ours was also there. He's from Seattle, owns a business brokerage company. And when we got home, we compared notes about you. He said, I can't believe Don could ask us to go and listen to a jerk like that. But Jay and I felt differently. I'm not like Naomi. I don't have a passion right now. And I know Ed is going to probably go home and tell his dad this, and I hope not.
It's not in the room now. It's all right. Keep talking.
Okay. Don't let him look at the tape.
Okay.
The business brokerage field, we've been in for 12 years, and someone said, when the student is ready, the teacher appear, and I think that's the stage I'm in, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I said that. Pretty smart guy said that, huh? Yeah. Very good. Well, let me make a couple of comments. First of all, I've said across this great nation of ours, the honest business brokers you find, maybe you're the first, I haven't met any yet except Don Taylor, because it's a tough business when you're put in that fiduciary responsibility point of representing the buyer or the seller. It's a very tough business. But you've got an opportunity, you've got Pandora's box, because you're exposed to a tremendous amount of transactions, you're exposed to a tremendous amount of people. And if I was I've told Don this, it's nothing I haven't told Don already. I mean, if I were the chairman of VR Brokers, I'd be looking at all the transactions and all the people and all the network, and I don't like that word networking, that I can do with people all over the country, because what is there, 250 or some offices, or a lot of offices.
Yeah, about 100.
Okay, 100 offices. And I'm not too good on details either. 100, 250, it's about the same to me. But I mean, and that's been my advice to him, to be exposed to all those transactions. Because when you've got to have at least 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 prospects rolling through your operation if you've got that many offices in a year. Don hasn't done that. My recommendation to you, since you're from one of the local offices, is to do it, kiss a lot of frogs. Whether they come in to sell their business or buy a business, I mean, they're in business. You have an opportunity to find out what they're doing. You have an opportunity to perhaps glean information, or latch on to a business transaction, and that's what I would do. When I was on Wall Street, I made more money through the people I met, and I was one of the highest paid brokers in the country in the 70s, in the middle 70s. But I made infinitely more money. I did the Salawati deal, my first oil deal, a deal that the firm wouldn't do. I mean, because I didn't know it was kissing frogs in those days. Of course, part of that time I was single. I was kissing a lot of things in those days. But yeah, they were great days living in New York, single, now that I think about it. But, yeah, I lost my train of thought now. Wait a minute. Okay, but that's what I would do. I would take advantage of the opportunity, all the people that you're seeing. You may find another business that you would rather be in, vis-a-vis the people that you're being introduced to, or people that they know. Because what I find a lot of times, lawyers, accountants, people that are in the service business don't ask enough questions. They don't ask enough questions to develop a rapport to where you get information about other potential transactions. You know, my experience with the CEO clubs, and that's how I met some of the people that have attended my seminar. That CEM is Center for Entrepreneurial Management, and they're the CEO clubs of America in the United States. I did that lecture series for one reason and one reason only: to be exposed to a lot of potential business transactions, not for people that come to my seminars and all the other reasons that people normally speak to these groups like tech, YPO, etc., to suck money out of them for products or for seminars. I do the free public speaking I do, the pro bono public speaking, I do because I want to be exposed to transactions, because that's where the money is. The money isn't me collecting fees and selling tapes, and that's not where the money is. That's why all these guys have no money, because they make money from putting asses on seminar seats, selling books and tapes. And with 3 or 4 exceptions that have written extremely successful, profitable bestsellers, like Dyer has written a couple, but he's an anomaly. I mean, most of the guys, they sell 25, 50,000 books. They say over 600,000 in circulation. That's because they bought 550,000 and they give them away to everybody. So you've got an opportunity because you've got a conduit of people coming through the door. Sir.
Hi, my name is Steve Moss. I own DCI Software out in Southwest Riverside County. First, I think I want to talk about my goals, because that's kind of where I want to go to rather than where I've been. I want a 1,000-acre ranch up in Montana someplace. I don't know, 5,000, 10,000 square foot house and lots of Arabs and no light. Thank you. No, it's okay. I'm nervous enough as it is right here. Where I'm at is in 1991, I jumped out of the middle of the construction industry with a contractor's license, 20 years worth of computer experience, and 10 years worth of airfield management style experience in the Air Force. A lot of decision making. Learned early on, you make a decision because you can always reverse the damn thing. It's easier to start a ball rolling and move it than it is to just start it from scratch. So a lot of decision making experiences. Yeah. Stepped out in 1991 from a $60,000, $70,000 a year job. Got a little pissed off at the boss and said, bye, I'm going to step out. Been married a year, have a wife that's 9 months pregnant. 3 days later, my first son is born, right? Started a business, service-oriented, took the computer experience and the contractor's experience, built a service bureau, said I can maintain a couple $100 worth of billing time, or a couple $100 an hour worth of billing for an hour or two every couple of days. That'll put food on the table. And started developing a program that helps, and I know you've been lambasting Lotus 123 and number crunchers, but
I don't even know how to turn a computer on.
Before I go into what my program does, understand that once a contractor has decided I'm going to bid this job, then he's made the decision. Then he's got to get the number so that he can go beat his competition to death. Okay, and that's what my program does. It's called the Estimator, and we're selling fairly extensively throughout the nation right now, or at least attempting to. We've been selling what we call a prototype, which is a working model. It works great. It's got a good user interface. People are happy with it. We sell it for $2,500, and I've got the worst set of reps out there that there is. Their priorities are golf and tennis and other stuff. Okay. One guy's on the Nike tour, so you have to assume
that's not good. It's good for him to play a lot of golf, but that's not good for you.
I'm in the process right now of exploring, taking it into a direct mail campaign. Drop the price point down. We have a proven track record at $2,500. Talked to Mike over here a minute ago. We have no returns. We don't have that many out there, so it doesn't surprise anybody. But with essentially what I call under 1% return rate, it's a proven product.
What does that mean when you mean people don't bring it back?
People have, $2,500, nobody's ever returned a product. Nobody's even questioned, hey, I don't think I like the thing. So, that's what I'm here for, is to get some ideas.
Yeah, okay? Well, that's the good one right there, raise your prices.
We've been trying to generate the capital to just kind of keep on working, and I've just had my nose buried in a computer. You can tell that once I get up and get started, I'm okay, but it just gets me nervous being in front of more than one person at a time. my purpose for being here is to, one, learn what Dan's got to do. I'm one of 3 people, I think I counted, that had no knowledge of what Dan was 3 days ago. So I'm coming in kind of fresh. I have
Jesus.
no idea what's going on.
Ed? God, what is this? I thought everybody knew how important I was.
No, a friend of mine was in the San Diego seminar and has a family member dying in Colorado and said, Steve, quick, take my spot. I said, okay, no problem. She said, here's the questions that they asked on the survey. So I wrote them down, did them in the computer so that they'd be legible, because when you see me write, you understand why I do everything in a computer. And showed up, and hopefully it's going to be a good thing. My second reason is to gain some contacts with some people that, if they aren't already in Dan's level, that they are attempting to build that level. And because right now I hang around with doofuses, and I don't know how he knew it, but I go bowling on Tuesday night.
Jesus! God!
Okay, I'm the doofus that does the bowling.
That's great.
Last year I made $7,000 in bowling. My first year out I carried a 215 average. So
That's high average.
I get very focused. I get very focused when I start doing something, and I'm just now getting to the point where I realize that I need to attach the focus that I put in my sports into my business. And other than the fact that I know computers and software and how to talk to people, that's it. I need somebody that can, one, run the business for me. I need some marketing experience. I need a whole bunch of stuff, and hopefully I'm going to get some of that here.
Okay, let me make some generic comments. Number one, either bowl all the time or don't bowl at all. That's number one. You know which one you ought to be doing. Okay. Number two, you're right. You got to blow out the doofuses. I mean, they're detrimental. They're debilitating. To your if you really want what you aspire, what you've alluded to. Like for me, life's very simple. There's only 4 or 5 people that I talk to. I go out to dinner with. Hoffman's one of them, mainly because of his wife, not because of him. And 2 or 3 others, and that's it. My life's very simple. My life is divided up into 3 sections: pro bono work, the companies that I control, kind of overseeing, and they don't report to me on a day-to-day basis, and my speaking, public speaking, keynoting, and this kind of stuff. That's it. And everything revolves around, I like to play a lot of golf. I like to do business deals with golf. On the golf course, when I go speak, I better be able to play golf, otherwise I don't go speak. But I'm coming from a different angle than most everybody else in this room. So I like deals in Orlando, because I can play golf. That's right. So, you've got to categorize your priorities. You've got some expertise, and you're right to the gentleman over here. You've got to raise your prices on your deal and find out where the level that they stop wanting to buy it or they start returning it. I've never had anybody. We used to have a money-back guarantee for the seminars. Nobody ever asked for the money, and so we used to give you a year free seminars on top of the seminars, and only 2 or 3 people would come. And we've charged as much as $10,000 for this seminar. And then we've marketed it from $89 or $119 or something to $10,000, and we've had the same amount of people at night on night 119 as $10,000. So we're continuing to try to find out what the market is, and but you've got to do some of that, we will discuss those kinds of marketing issues, and there's 2 or 3 people in the audience, I believe, at least. So far, they probably have some expertise that could help you in that area. But you're right. Refocus from the bowling. Somebody's son in here, Whipples, you told me you were listening to one of my tapes and you were with your kid, your son, right? And you're on the way someplace and he bowled his highest game? Yeah. That's right. Well, that's supposedly my best that I've given in the last couple of years. Boy, I was fired up that day, but go ahead. And what happened? You listened to it?
Well, you told me a story about your son at 7:50, I think it was.
6:40.
And I said to him, if you forget about what you've done in the past, you can do it. And I think the highest point we ever bowled was 110 or something like that. And literally, 10 minutes after that, hey, he walked in.
Yeah, I mean, if you block out what you know, you're preconditioned. Of course, when you're 10, 11, 12 years old, you don't have that so much preconditioned crap in your head, but you got enough because your parents put a lot there. And I know Bruce is probably like me. He's put a lot of it in his kids' ears, and so, so you can. I think that you'll be able to develop a lot of good ideas how to move forward with your business, sir. The mic.
My name is Jay Tweet, and I'm the other half of the VR Business Broker office in Seattle. And we came down to take the seminar in San Diego, like my wife said, for a different reason than we're here today. Our attending that, pretty much, we had the terms overused today a little bit, but we really had personally a paradigm shift. And perhaps it was right for us. We got into, we started our business in 1982, and we bought a VR franchise, and we made a goal at that time. It was late in '82, and at one time VR had over 200 offices, or around 200, something like that, to be the #1 office in the country. We did that in 3 years from start. And one of the reasons I'm here today is because the goals we set, and maybe because of my preconditioning, and I was preconditioned better than a lot of people. I grew up in a family that owned a small business, 3rd generation. But nevertheless, I did set my goals too low. I reached most of them too quickly. And it was so easy to be the #1 office of the largest company in the United States selling businesses. You have no idea. Not only that, this year we're going to do it for the 5th time. And there's no challenge in it left for us. It's just, when I started this business, and I tell people this today, because it's true, I couldn't wait to go to bed at night so I could get up in the morning and go and do it. I was that excited. And I remember when I was recruiting people to be brokers, and I recruited, at the time, I had been in sales myself for 2 or 3 years. I recruited people who've been in sales for 30 years. And I interviewed people every day for 10 hours for 3 months. And I never got tired. And I had people tell me, they said, I don't know if you know what you're doing, but I know one thing for sure. You're awfully excited about this business. And they went to work for us. And I don't have that same passion anymore for the business I'm in, because there's really no challenge left in it for me. And unless we can figure out a way to, you know, the exponential growth in some other field or something else. So what I think what I saw in San Diego was the reason there's nothing left is because I haven't been a macro thinker. You know, my wife and I are one of those people. We're very good at what we do, and there aren't many people in the United States, in or out of VR, that are better at this business than I am. And that sounds conceited to some people, but it's true.
Good.
And but we're kind of like the fellow who owns the restaurant chain. Perhaps we've done it by
I certainly
being.
hope not. I mean, I know this guy. I know this guy.
and I realize that one of the things that either I have been unwilling to do or haven't figured out how to do is delegate. We haven't looked too hard, but we haven't tried to find anybody to take over this business and manage it for us. And it's maybe because I don't know what it is. If I'm a control freak or a perfectionist or whatever it is, it's what made us successful, incidentally. But
they're not mutually exclusive. I mean,
yeah. So anyway, it's a
I understand
dilemma. It's a dilemma.
I understand exactly where you're coming from. You know, when I walked away from Wall Street in the late '70s, it was a couple months before I would have been made partner at Bear Stearns, and non-Jewish people don't walk away from a partnership at Bear Stearns. It's unheard of. I'm the second most successful guy to come out of Bear Stearns. The KKR guys were the most successful. And there's 3 of them. I mean, KKR, you know, Kravis, Kroll, and whatever the other guy's name was. And then I came out, and then several other big-time guys have come out of Bear Stearns. And I left because basically I figured out I was on Wall Street almost 10 years, and I made a lot of money. It wasn't that hard. It just wasn't. Once you got the shtick down, the line of BS, I mean, it wasn't that hard. Then I went into the energy business for almost 10 years, and I had the fastest growing energy company in the world 5 years in a row. I mean, and I was making more money than God, and everybody, you know, was, you know, buying my wife, you know, $1 million worth of jewelry on the come that I couldn't close a deal. You can't close that deal. I'd say, I'll buy my wife $1 million worth of jewelry just at Sotheby's to prove it. If I'm wrong, you can have the $1 million. I was so sure. I became bored. And that's where you are. And and that's why I'm offering new challenges, as I believe you will, by the time Saturday afternoon rolls around, you'll figure out that either you've got to give the business, keep an equity portion, or sell the business, or do something with the business and do something else. And that's why I'm involved in manufacturing, in the textile business now, which I know nothing about either one. So I don't like to be bogged down with the facts when I'm in business. I didn't know anything about the oil business, and and that's my suggestion, you know, or recommendation, and you'll hear more about it over the next couple of days. But you're satiated. You've had a lot of success. You can't go any further in your line of work. And so, you know, I think that you're going to come away with the idea that you're going to have a complete paradigm shift, and you're going to be doing something else. And I'm sure that we'll give you the tools how to do it quicker. Although you did pretty damn quick, but I mean, how to do it quicker, but more importantly, bigger and quicker.
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't big enough. And
that's right. And when you set those goals, they seem, you know, when Rick Scott set $20 billion back in '87, nobody even, I think the biggest company in healthcare at that time did about $2 billion. So it was 10 times the biggest one in the industry. He's doing 16, 17 billion this year. And now, you know, I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I know he's sick to it, so probably blames me. You know, I said, make it, because I always tell everybody, make it 10 times bigger. He said, I'll listen to you, Dan. Now look, I'm up Schitt's Creek now. I'm here. I'm 41 years old. So, I mean, you know, multiply, whatever your goals are, multiply them by 10, add 3 or 4, 5 zeros. It's that simple. I mean, things happen. Momentum shifts. And when you're thinking positively, when you think that you cannot, you know, those 10 hours a day for 10 months, and I've experienced that. I know that. I used to close real estate. They used to bring them in 10, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I just hammer these. I was going to say poor bastards, but that's not. I just hammer them. They'd bring them through, and every once in a while, when one wiggled off the hook from me, the salesman would hate me. How could you let this guy go? I had a $10,000 commission. I said, I didn't let him go. But you know what? Was I going to shoot the guy? You know, was I going to choke him to death? So every once in a while, about a half a guy out of 10 got through me. And then the salesman would hate me. I'm not bringing you any more. Of course, I was the only closer in the company, so they had to bring them to me. I understand that, and it becomes too easy, and then it's not fun anymore. But we'll cure your fix, sir.